morning, dear students. We are reading an interesting story about a little girl, Vali, who was interested to ride in a bus because when she was standing in the doorway, she could hear to the interesting stories of the people who were riding the bus. She collected the fare by herself, and then one day she decided to board the bus. The journey was beginning with an ease and with laughter with the conductor who cracked jokes and who made fun and who enjoyed. And then suddenly an old woman came close and sat behind Vali. Vali did not like that woman because of her dirty mannerisms. Now let's see in part number 3 on page number 122 what happens next. On page number 122, we know that she had collected the money students for going for riding the bus, and see what happens. Her first journey, what careful, painstaking, elaborate plans she had to make for it. She had thriftily saved whatever stray coins came her way, resisting every temptation to buy peppermints, toys, balloons, and the like. And finally, she had saved a total of 60 paisa. Vali knew that for one side journey she would need 30 paisa, and therefore she had to collect 60 paisa if she had to go and return back. For her first journey she had carefully and painstakingly, with lot of pains, she had collected the money. Coins from here and there, from her pocket money and many. That money was given to her for buying peppermints, toys, balloons, and the other things. But she resisted. She controlled her temptations and did not buy them. And then she went on to ride the bus. How difficult it had been, particularly that day at the village fair, but she had resolutely stifled a strong desire to ride the merry-go-round, even though she had the money. Especially at the village fair, students, when she went, she wanted to go and enjoy merry-go-round, but she controlled her desire, strong desire, and she collected the money for riding the bus. After she had enough money saved, her next problem was how to slip out of the house without her mother's knowledge. Because she knew that she was very small in her age, nobody would allow her to go all alone. Therefore, she wanted to move out of the house without mother's knowledge. But she managed this without too much difficulty. Every day after lunch, her mother would nap from 1 to 4 or so. Vali always used these hours for her excursions, going out and enjoying. As she stood looking from the doorway of her house, sometimes even ventured out into the village. So she remembered that those were the hours when she used to go out of the house and enjoy. So today also she decided to use those hours, move out of the house, and take a risk to move into the village. Today these same hours could be used for her first excursion outside the village. Now those hours were usually spent in the village, but now for the first time she was going out of the village. The bus rolled on, now cutting across a bare landscape, now rushing through a tiny hamlet or last an odd wayside shop. Sometimes the bus seemed on the point of gobbling up another vehicle that was coming towards them or a pedestrian crossing the road. So this is how the journey began. The bus was moving, and an odd wayside shop also. It used to tiny hamlet is a small village. Also it went rushing through and then gobbling, moving here and there. Another vehicle was there. It just took a side and then it overtook the other vehicle and then just ran, taking the people sitting in the bus to the other side of the village, outside the villages, and reaching up to the town. But lo, somehow it passed on smoothly, leaving all obstacles safely behind. Trees came running towards them, but then stopped as the bus reached them and simply stood there, helpless for a moment by the side of the road before dashing away in the other direction. So, children, she was sitting and looking at the trees. You know that when we are in a moving vehicle, the stationary objects that are visible on the road, they also seem to run in the opposite direction. So that's what she was looking at. The trees were running towards them, and then she saw that there were some helpless moments because the bus was jumping, but it managed to move smoothly on the roads again. Suddenly, Wali clapped her hands with glee. She was very happy. A young cow, tail high in the air, was running very fast, right in the middle of the road, right in front of the bus. The bus slowed to a crawl, and the driver sounded his horn loudly again and again. But no, he honked. The more he honked, the more frightened the animal became, and faster it galloped, always right in front of the bus. Suddenly, Wali saw that there was a young cow that was with the tail high in the air running just in front of the bus. The bus drivers tried to slow down the bus, but still it was running and running. And as it blew, the driver blew the horn of the bus, the cow ran more and more fast. So now, when the driver was moving fast, then he thought that it might be possible that there would be an accident. So he was not able to understand what to do. Somehow this was very funny for Wali. So she laughed and laughed until there were tears in her eyes. Hey lady, haven't you laughed enough? Called the conductor. Better save some for tomorrow. She laughed so much, students, that the conductor came to her and asked her that if you had enough laughter for today, then leave some laughter for tomorrow. At last the cow moved off the road, and soon the bus came to a railroad crossing. A speck of train could be seen in the distance, growing bigger and bigger as it drew near. Then it rushed past the crossing gate with a tremendous roar and rattle, shaking the bus. Then the bus went on and passed the train station. From there, it traversed a busy, well laid out shopping street and turning entered a wider thoroughfare. Such big, bright looking shops, what glittering displays of clothes and other merchandise. Such big crowds. So now, children, at last, cow moved off the road, and then the bus again took the railroad crossing and then moved further. Then suddenly, Wali could see a speck of a train also, and then she could see that there was tremendous, huge roar and rattle shaking the bus. Huge sound was there when they crossed the gate, because of that iron rails and all that. Then bus went on and passed the train station also. Then they moved up in a busy locality where she could see shopping street and a turn. Then on the turns she could see a wider thoroughfare. Thoroughfare is a busy public road. Then she could see big bright looking shops, shining display of clothes and other merchandise. Merchandise is things for sale. Struck dumb with wonder, Wali gaped. Wali was surprised at everything. Then the bus stopped and everyone got off except Wali. Hey lady, said the conductor, aren't you ready to get off? This is as far as your 30 paisa takes you. So that was the destination. No, Wali said, I am going back on this same bus. She took another 30 paisa from her pocket and handed the coins to the conductor. Why is something the matter? No, nothing's the matter. I just felt like having a bus ride, that's all. Don't you want to have a look at the sights now that you are here? All by myself. Oh, I would be much too afraid. Greatly amused by the girl's way of speaking, the conductor said, But you weren't afraid to come in the bus. Nothing to be afraid of about that, she answered. Well, then, why not go to that stall over there and have something to drink? Nothing to be afraid of about that either. Oh no, I couldn't do that. Well, then, let me bring you a cold drink. So, students, when she reached the town, that was the final destination of the bus, and therefore the conductor asked Wali to get down of the bus and enjoy the things outside or wherever she wanted to go. She told that she just wanted to ride the bus and she took another 30 paisa out of her pocket and she gave to the conductor. She told that she will be returning home, and to that conductor was surprised that she just wanted to ride the bus and that is why she was there. Still, he asked her to enjoy the sights that she did not want. And she could not also because students, that she was not having any money in the pocket to drink or eat anything. Therefore, she did not come down of the bus. Still, the conductor said that he would bring cold drink for her. No, I don't have enough money. Just give me my ticket, that's all. It will be my treat and not cost you anything, the conductor said. So the cold drink will be from my side. Don't worry. No, no, she said firmly. Please go. Please no. The conductor shrugged and they waited until it was time for the bus to begin the return journey. Again, there weren't many passengers. Won't your mother be looking for you? The conductor asked when he gave the girl her ticket. No, no, no one will be looking for me, she said. The bus started, and again there were the same wonderful sights. Wali wasn't bored in the slightest and greeted everything with the same excitement she had felt the first time. But suddenly she saw a young cow lying dead by the roadside, just where it had been struck by some fast moving vehicle. And suddenly Wali saw when she was very happy, her delighted and happy journey soon turned into sorrow when she saw a young cow lying down who had met with a accident. Isn't that the same cow that ran in front of the bus on our trip to town? She asked the conductor. The conductor nodded. He just shook his head in agreement. Yes, it was the same cow. And she was overcome with sadness. What had been a lovable, beautiful creature just a little while ago had now suddenly lost its charm and its life and looked so horrible, so frightening as it lay there, legs spread out, a fixed stare in its lifeless eyes, blood all over. So that was the sight of the dead cow. The bus moved on. The memory of the dead cow haunted her, dampening her enthusiasm. Now she was not interested to look outside the window of the bus. She no longer wanted to look out of the window. She sat thus glued to her seat until the bus reached her village at 3:40. She stood up and stretched herself. Then she turned to the conductor and said, Well, sir, I hope to see you again. Okay, madam, he answered her, smiling. Whenever you feel like a bus ride, come and join us and don't forget to bring your fare. So these were the last words that were spoken by the conductor. That ended the journey of Madam, who is Wali. She laughed and jumped down from the bus, then away she went, running straight for home. When she entered her house, she found her mother awake and talking to one of Wali's aunts. The one from South Streets, this aunt was a real chatterbox. Means she used to continuously speak and talk, never closing her mouth once she started talking. And where have you been? Said her aunt when Wali came in. She spoke very casually, not expecting a reply. So Wali just smiled, and her mother and aunt went on with their conversation. Yes, you are right, her mother said. So many things in our midst and in the world outside. How can we possibly know about everything? And even when we do know about something, we often can't understand it completely, can we? So, mother and aunt were in conversation. The words, it appeared to be very ironical to Wali. Yes, there are many things that we do not know, and if we know also anything, then we often do not understand them. Oh, yes, breathed Wali. Suddenly, Wali spoke. What? Asked her mother. Because aunt and the mother were talking with each other. Wali spoke in between. Oh, yes. Why she spoke, now you understand. What's that you say? Oh, said Wali. I was just agreeing with what you said about things happening without our knowledge. Just a chit of a girl, said her aunt. And yet look how she pokes her nose into our conversation, just as though she were a grown lady. So the aunt spoke that she's a very small girl. Well, is a very small girl still. She is poking her nose into the womanly conversations. Vali smiled to herself. She didn't want them to understand her smile. Why she smiled? Because she was called by aunt a grown lady. Now, today, whatever she had done, that was actually the work of an adult. Therefore, she had behaved like a grown lady. She didn't want them to understand her smile. Why? Because she did not want them to know that she had been on the ride of the bus up to the town and returned back. But then there wasn't much chance of that, was there? There was no chance of letting them know. Why? Because she would never tell. And the other point is that the mother was sleeping when she went out. And then both aunt and the mother, they were so in deep conversation that they did not come to know later also that Vali was not at home or where Vali had been. So this is all about the journey of the little girl who